All right, I've been making videos and I'm just kind of keeping going here. So I've got a interesting historic story, in my opinion. I think it's a story. You can tell after this video if it is or not. But I worked for the 144th Fighter Wing Fire Department for about 5 years. I was state active duty, uh, so it was a state fire department on a military base. So you had to be in the military, like at least a traditional guardsman. I'm losing my breath, damn it. You had to be a traditional guardsman to work out at the base. So you wore like a regular firefighter outfit, blue uniform, dark blue uniform, and 1 week in a month you wear your military uniform. So at the time that I was there, they had F-16s. And so we were a fighter wing that was responsible for covering the entire West Coast. If any bad guys try to fly in that cause the United States harm, these guys go out and they get to the coast in like minutes. They go either identify the aircraft and escort them down, or shoot them, or whatever they need to do. So that was that base's main function, and I worked as a firefighter there for that whole time, almost five years full time, 4.5, something like that. It's windy today. I think the tree just hit the side of the house. So anyway, I worked that base, and I was on the flight line a lot. I got to know a lot about aircraft firefighting, stuff like that. And we didn't run a lot of calls off the base. We were more in charge of just our base. And then when something happened, since we were on the airport property, the civilian fire department was on the other side of the runway, and we'd just meet in the middle and work incidents together. It's called mutual aid. So I'll get to this story that I'm trying to tell. While I was a firefighter there, I was a firefighter during 9/11. So when I saw that go down on the news, I got the information that it was going on. Somebody knocked on my door, said, "Hey, we're at war." We turned the news on, checked it out. Next thing I went to work. I was out there for 20 days, something like that. Can't remember. 20. Anyway, made it through all that stuff. I didn't get deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan or anything. I stayed home, and things not smoothed out because nothing's ever been the same since. But after things got settled down and they went through all the recovery and everything, this guy from Clovis, California, owned a business called Pelco. They were like a security camera business, security surveillance, that kind of stuff. And it was a pretty big company, employed a lot of people around there, and the owner was pretty patriotic. So he was appreciative of what all of these New York firefighters had done. So he chartered 2 airplanes to fly these people from New York into Fresno, and he threw 2 big parties for them. One was at the airport property, so because everybody came in on these charters, and they had rented like the United Airlines hangar and filled the whole thing up with tables and had an Elvis impersonator and the whole 9 yards, big party. I was on duty that night working. Otherwise, I would have been there hanging out, drinking with the rest of them. So I was on duty that night. But he had the party there at the airport, and then after that, they got everybody up to his house, which was up this road toll house on the way to like the local ski place here or something. It's called something else now. This is kind of on the way. It's up into the mountains. We live in this huge mansion on I don't know how many acres, a lot of acres, big chain link fence all the way around the property. He took all these guys up there and threw them a big old party. I didn't get to go to that one. But when these guys arrived, the chartered aircraft that he flew these guys in with, um, we did, and I had never heard of this. I was just told I was going to do it, so I was like, cool. Um, I drove a truck called the P-19. It's a crash fire rescue firefighting vehicle. That's it right there. Actually, that's me leaning on it. That's the chief's vehicle behind that. And then the rescue vehicles behind that. Rescue vehicles got the jaws of life and stuff like that. And those are the Doolittle Raiders back there. But that has nothing to do with this story. So we took these trucks out. I was on one side of the runway, and I'm sorry, the taxiway. No, man, we went on the runway. Yeah, we had to get clearance, got on the runway. And Ned Ferguson was driving the same vehicle with two of these. Parked on one side of the runway. I parked on the other side of the runway. And when these guys taxied in, we did a water rainbow over the top of their aircrafts. And it was pretty cool, you know, I don't know what the correct term for it is, but got to do that, salute those guys, you know, as they were coming in. And so anyway, after they got off the plane, there was all kinds of different city officials and our local firefighters, Fresno Firefighters, Clovis Firefighters. Everybody came out to meet these guys, talk to them, and show them around, you know, show them some hospitality. Made these shirts during that time right here. When those guys came in, they passed them out to a bunch of people. They gave me one of them. One of the engine crews, I don't know if they're from one engine or, you know, multiple engines. Different vehicles, apparatus. Came into our station, and this guy, Patrick Hanrahan, who was my captain at the time, and I gave these guys a tour of our department. Showed them around, talked to them. They told us some stories. Told them some stories, you know, like you do. And just showed them around, and got that shirt from one of them or one of the Fresno Firefighters. I really can't remember who gave that one to me. Yeah, that's I didn't, like I said, unfortunately I didn't get to go to the party up on the hill. Didn't get invited to that one, but I thought that was a pretty cool thing that they did for all those guys that made it. You know, because they had recently lost, you know, people that weren't just friends, they were brothers. At least, you know, so most of them act. I feel like I need to redo this one. I don't know, maybe not. Just kind of last thing maybe I'll throw in there. When I left, my captain told me to go ahead and take this with me. And well, I listened to him. I think they were getting new helmets anyway. Gonna switch these out. Well, if I don't have time to redo this one, sorry it was kind of choppy, but I thought some people might like that story. You can check it out. There's stories about that whole thing online, and I think there's photos of the Elvis impersonator and stuff like that. And, you know, just these guys cruising around town. I think one of them actually even stayed in Fresno and opened a sandwich shop. When he came out to visit the first time on that trip, he liked it so much out there that he stayed and opened up a sandwich shop. And he had a hard time with his shop. I don't know if it made it or if he's still going or what. I hope so. He seemed like a pretty cool guy. I feel like I'm forgetting something. That's all I got for now. Hope you enjoyed that.